land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows. Follow, sweet children, I'll show thee the way through all the pain and the sorrows. Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty and passion. Hush now, dear children, it must be this way, to weary of life and deceptions. Rest now, my children, for soon we'll away into the calm and the Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows.
Okay, this show here is going to be on how to make this piece and how to flatten these out, how to make all these little pieces here. It's a 3-part show, so make sure you watch all 3 parts of it to get it to where it shows you how to make everything. And I hope you enjoy it. Catch you later. Okay, I got all my holes punched in here, nice and neat. And now I'm going to make these end holes for where I'm going to put my links for my necklace chain. That I'm going to use the larger hole punch for, because the chain, when I make it, you'll see that it'll also have a, it's a thicker piece of metal. But I also don't just leave it as a thick piece of metal. I actually flatten it out a little bit too, so it holds it makes the metal more sturdy, because instead of just being a round piece of metal which can be bent, it actually makes it square and actually rectangle, and it makes it hold its shape better. And I'll show you how to do that properly too. And it's pretty neat because it'll make a simple piece of metal that's pretty stout to a very strong piece of metal, and it just won't come apart. That way the jewelry don't come snapping apart on you when you're out in the middle of a dance or walking around the show or a Comic-Con or wherever you're at with your steampunk jewelry. But your pieces also, remember, never get them too close to the edge, because when you split it or mash it, it just shows through. But you don't want it to be really thin either, because through time copper does wear down. If you want this to last for years and years and years, it does have a little bit of weight. Give it a little bit of meat. Don't make it real thin on the edge. And there's all the little pieces of metal I was talking about earlier. What I was talking about looks like painting for gold, like, oh, rich. That's kind of like gold pieces on the bottom of a pan. But anyway, I just keep them like that because I got a little jar that's filled with scraps that I have in there, and I just keep pouring it in there. I figure eventually I'll get this thing full of brass, copper, everything else, and I'll give it to my scrapper friends, and I'll have like 2 pounds of whatever this is worth. I'll probably trade it for some more metal that I can make jewelry out of. So, anyway, I want to cut some wire and get some wire and everything else, and I'll show you what to do with it next. I got kind of close to the edge of this one, but there's still plenty of meat on there, so that's not going to break through. Yeah, that'll still hold. That's pretty good. This is the way I like them. Yeah, that I got a little close. In fact, I'm not even going to use that. I want to make another hole next to that, and I'll put something else in there. I don't even like that hole. Okay, this is I believe a schedule 14. I didn't put the measurement on it, but I used to be an electrician a long time ago. That looks like schedule 14 to me. But it comes in a 5 braid wire. You just take a piece off, unravel it off. You end up with all these little kinky pieces, which are easy. You just sit there and just start unbending them. It's not that hard to do. You just start drizzling through it. Or if you want to do it even faster, but I don't want to sit here forever doing it, you can actually sit here and just real quickly just tap down, and then you twist it a little bit more and tap it some more and start straightening it right out. You just lightly tap it. You don't have to like bam, bam, bam like you're trying to make a sword or something. And it straightens it right out. You see. And then you can go on and work from there. So anyway, I'm going to straighten this out and then show you how I'm going to start sewing the pieces of that. Then I'll show you how to make the chain links to make them pretty. The chain links I'm going to show you is like on this piece here. This is one I've already done with a stone in the middle of it. But right here, you see where I've already made these pieces out and then flattened them. They're not round. Well, they're round, but not round this way. They're actually been folded around, and then I've flattened them out with a hammer. That holds their shape, so they're actually strong now. And okay, battery went dead on me there for a minute, so I clicked out. But like I was saying, you have the pieces here I flatten out and it makes it ridged, so that way it holds stronger. And I'll have to show you a piece on that. That's a art in itself, just to do that. So anyway, I'll be right back with this in just a minute and start showing you how to stitch these pieces on. Okay, so now I'm going to start bending wires. I'm going to start off putting one of the end pieces in, I believe. You know, heck with that. We'll start with the center piece. You take your wire. You figure, okay, we're going to be about that much sticking out for curl. Then you go travel across to the other hole. We'll need about that much, and then you want that much to be designable out this end. So with that note, you take the cutters, you cut them. Now some people like to cut these things with regular pliers, you know, that pinch. You know, like using the back half of this and cut it that way. When you do that, it actually leaves a wedge on your stuff. The wire, if you magnify it, looks like this, and then it will have an actual cut like that, and then go down, and that will cut you open. That's the way your wire will be when they do it. When you cut with these pieces here, it actually goes, it's around when it grabs it. So when it cuts it, the wire is actually up, and it is actually rounded. It's cut like that. And it doesn't leave anything to cut. So I prefer these type of cutters. They're very good. And they'll cut some heavy gauge stuff too. So anyway, we cut them. Then we figure, oh, that's about center, because there's not an exact science to this thing. This will be poking out this side. So about there to, and you can see where the other hole is here. You put your pliers there, but don't put your pliers dead to the edge, because it never bends. You go just a little off, just a little bit. Don't put your pliers like dead on the edge of that thing, because when you bend it, the wire actually bend a little past it. Put it just a gnat's hair away from the hole, and that's where you can bend that wire. Now you can take it and you bend it, then move your pliers away from it a little bit and over bend it, then bend it back, and it actually makes a sharper turn to it. There. So that way you're squared now. Then you plug it in your hole. Here. And over here. Ta-da! And you take your pretty little piece here and you just drop it in. That holds it in place. Now this piece here, you just bend it by hand. That way. And this one you can bend, and you take your pliers and you start doing your cutesy little marks on it where it goes down, and you can over roll it a little bit. So that way you can bend this and make several rolls, and you got this round ring like that. And then you can take your piece here, give it some firm hits, and flatten it out a little bit. And it gives a little bit more character. Now you can take this side right here. Let's see. I want this to go back a little bit that way. And then I want this to bend back this way. Now you can take your hammer lightly and give it a little tap like this. It'll flatten out this piece back here so things sit better, but it also tightens this up. Now this still spins, but your pieces here are tight. Now this here, you can do some other stuff with it. You can get beads, put a bead on it or something like this. I think I'm going to get a wire and make a coil out of it. You get these little tools here. This is a cool tool. You stick it through here and there, and you actually put a wire on here, and you just twist it, and it'll actually wind it around and make it look like a spring. Which I'll show you how this is done quickly here. So I'll be back in just a second. I gotta get a wire. Okay, I had to reposition the camera here. You take this piece and just slide it right through here. Take this and just start bending it. And it makes a little spring out of it. Remember to hold your hand over here, because if you put your hand even with it, you'll start overlapping and stuff on the spring. You want the spring to feed itself on there neatly. And keep tension to it. You know, pull pretty good on it. Because if you don't, it won't wind properly and it'll be all weird. And you can actually overlap. But as long as you keep it tight, it won't overlap. And you just keep winding. And then where you see where you get little gaps, like right here, you just simply push it in. Anyway, we'll wind this up and I'll get this whole piece done here, because it does take a few minutes to do all this. But, well, actually I can just go ahead and do it. But this just adds character to it. This is the right gauge to put around that other wire. And you can get this also on the internet or whatever, but if you're like, I can't afford all these tools, this isn't something you actually have to have. See if you go straight with it, it'll overline itself. You can actually wrap this onto any kind of thin piece of metal or pencils. You can do other things to wrap this around. You don't have to have all these fancy tools. But this little tool doesn't really cost a lot. But what I do is this. I'll put a tool to it like that, and it wraps it nice and smooth, so it don't have that little burr sticking up. Then you just mash it straight. Pull it off. Take this off of here. Easier said than done. Anyway, take it out to here. And I'm a waste not, want not person. So I'll wrap that back around, and right before it cuts my finger, you put this to it and twist that on around it. And it puts it nice and smooth. Then you just simply pull the wire off of it. Then you take this, you say, okay, I want it to about there or whatever, or however you want to do it. Actually, it's a little longer than I wanted, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit. I'm going to reposition this a little bit. Pulling the camera back. Whoa! Typical magic camera stuff. There, I had to reposition the camera there. Anyway, cut that. Push it back down with your fingers. There's nothing to it. You got a little bird sticking out there, which will snag clothes, and if you leave something like that on your jewelry, people do not like it because it'll start snagging outfits and stuff, and then you got unhappy customers. This fits onto there. You could actually put a weird hexagon move to this. And then you just twist your little pieces around. I like that like that. But you see how this is a lot better looking. It looks cuter with the wire wrapped around it instead of raw like this one. But there you hammer some you have on. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and attach a few more pieces here. I wish there was a way I could fast forward this. Later on I will have special effects where I can fast forward. You can see it real fast and everything will be done better. But for like right now, this is the way I got to do this because I don't have all my wires cut and all those pieces. I got to keep cutting them, and nobody wants to sit and watch all that boring stuff. So I will be back in just a second with the magic of camera. I just put. Now sometimes you'll find out when you go to push your little wires through your hole here and in here. You'll find yourself where it's a little out of gauge. It's no problem. You take your piece here, put your little edge right there on the edge of that. On the edge like this, except I'm at an awkward angle here because I'm trying to get my camera to see what I'm doing. Pull you out just a little bit. There. Put it right on the edge, so this way this piece is sitting actually in the middle of that. And you drive it in. Then you pull these two pieces here. Push one way and one the other way, so it kind of keeps them in place. You put your cog. Reposition the camera at the same time. I need a camera crew. Anyway, you get your cog or gear, whatever you want to call it today. Go with this one. I don't want to go in there. You're going on there. Oh, I'm the happiest wheel in the world. And you put it on. Sorry, I have to talk to my stuff now and then. Yep. Like some religions, I think everything has a life, you know. So, talk to my jewelry. Now, just lightly tap it because we're not trying to drive it home when we're not forging the steel. But we want this to be flat right here. You know, so when you put it on your wrist, it's not this bulb sticking out here and all kinds of stuff. Now, I still have some wood. I have the other spring, which I was supposed to neatly set up here, and I must have dropped it on the floor. I will find it. Okay, I got my little spring. I also have some metal beads that are brass, steel, copper, different colors. Always use these little bowls here because they are very, very handy to have for just this. You can put your stuff in there and it's easy to pour them back into those bags. You can get these at any salsa or Spanish restaurant because they bring you the sauce in it. No, they're just regular cooking bowls and things like this, but actually I got these from restaurants. It never fails. You walk in, people recognize who I am, and they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. They start talking to me, this and that, and then later on at the end of the night I'll say, mind if I buy a couple of these bowls from you? And they'll let you buy them for us. Sometimes a couple of bucks a piece or whatever. I had one person actually came out and gave me like 12 of them at one time. I haven't had to get a bowl since, but at first I was buying them, and they had no problem selling them to you as long as you ask. Just don't be sneaking them out, you know, because nobody likes thieves. Anyway, you just drop some beads in here arbitrarily. and curl it, and then curl the other way. And keep curling, because the bead won't slide down it once it's bent like that. And give it one more curl once it's up here. Twist and twist. And it doesn't hurt to do this at all. Just lightly tamp it. Like I say, you're just flattening. You're not trying to drive it home or trying to forge metal here. Now that I found the spring that I dropped on the floor earlier, actually I want to put a curl there before I do that. So stand that up, and right about here we will turn that like that and bend over. A little bit. Put my spring on it. I'm going to pull it apart a little bit. There, right about like that. Now use your fingers to bend these things around. If you use a tool and bend it, when you do like this, it'll mess the spring up. It'll actually torque it out of shape and everything else. So use your hand when you do this, and it'll keep it in a lot better shape. There. Now below that will be two little guys come out of here. That'll hold this cog here in place. He's got to go right like a dat. See, you run into these problems every now and then too. You realize, oh, I was supposed to put this over that a little bit so it overlaps it, because I wanted this cog to actually go under that a little bit. And this hole, nobody see it, but this hole here, where there's a hole, I wanted that between the cogs, so the other wheel's going to go here, and it's going to lock that in place. And then this one's going to get two wires coming up through it, and it'll tie that in place. So see if we can do this. See, it's already starting to get kind of busy looking. It's getting busy. Okay, now we've got the cog sitting in place. I put the wire in the holes. You put the wire in the hole. So it sounds like a coconut song. Put the lime in the coconut. Anyway, you pull it through. Now you think, okay, well, how's that going to hold everything in place? Just like that. I know that's what you was asking yourself. The world wants to know. Anyway, you put it like that. You bend this one that way. I'm sorry, bend this one this way, and you bend that one that way. Actually tying that together. And then you do one simple twist up and one simple twist down. And that actually will hold it in place. And just give it a firm smack with a hammer. It doesn't hurt a thing. It won't feel it. It's taking drugs. It's on painkillers. But anyway, get some more of these little beads. This time I want to put some silver in it. There. Got a silver bead. Put it through there. And then I'm going to put, see, I got copper. So I'm going to use a brass bead. I will have copper, brass, and silver. And now between twist, I will twist this on there now. And I will pull this down to where I want it. But sometimes you have to get something and use force. Like I used to always say when I was younger, And with my son, whenever we work on houses and stuff, good price at whatever, I'd say never use force. Always use a bigger hammer. So anyway, we got that on there. Now we're going to curl this piece in just weird shapes. So I'm going to start right here and just, again, twisting it weird. I like that shape, but I want it to stay flat on that. Yeah, I like that in the middle of it. I have to hit this carefully to get it on this side of the beads, not on the bead. But that makes it where I want it to be. That's the fun thing about this. You can just keep building and building and building and building, and you just keep going. It's sometimes you get too busy on it, and you're like, uh-oh. But most of the time, it's like, that's pretty good. Has to use a flat pair of pliers to write that down. I guess you heard it snap in place. There. But it's getting there. Pretty busy, huh? And I'm going to put the larger cog right here in the middle, and then a piece go through here to tie it in place. That'll be the big boy here. And I love this piece because it looks like it has little bearings on it. And, you know, all this, but it's really a cool looking gear. I like it. It's just something that just says something to me. It's like, I gotta be a centerpiece. I said, okay, then you shall be. So that'll go there. And then this gear goes there. So yeah, got one more wire to put there and a wire there. So here's where we do this again, and I'll cut it to size, which we figure, okay, I want this much sticking out here so I can curl it whatever I want to do. Then I need about that much from this hole to that hole. Then about that much I want to play with on this side. So my wire's going to be at least that long. Using the cutters, cutting it. We'll straighten this wire out just a little bit. And I know everybody's thinking, you make that look so easy just to straighten that wire out. It's like, yeah, I've done this a couple of times, just for a few weeks. Anyway, now we'll bend that. That'll fit that side of the hole. From there to here, to this hole, and we'll bend it this way. Over bend it back. It gives you a sharper corner. Now we slide this in the holes here like that. And once again, a little tap here and there just to knock it flatter. I wasn't supposed to bop it like that, but I did. Now this will go through that hole. Oh, I'm going to go tall side first. This will go through that hole, that'll go through that hole. That little guy's got to go behind it. So I'm sorry, this has got to go on first. Splat. Now this will go on, and this will go on. There. And this, if you noticed, when this wire went through that hole, right here, you can see where now these cogs here, that wire actually blocks it from moving around. So it's tied here, and that locks that in place so it stays put there. Then you put this on. Ta-da! Cherry on the cake. And that ties all that together. And I'm going to move this little springy deal on top of that. Yeah. That came out pretty. Now I got to hold it there and mesh that down that way. And this way. That'll hold that in place until I figure out exactly how I'm tying it all. I am going to get some more of these springs and make some more of these and put them on here. So, once again, movie magic. I got to go and go. There. Wish it was that easy all the time. But anyway, now I got my springs. So I'll take one, throw it over there. I'll take this one, and I will take it out a little bit and cut it. which I should use the little cutters for that, but I didn't. Anyway, I'll mash that back in place there and mash it down with my fingers. There's the little one, and there's another little one. Push that down there. Push the little edge down there, and bite that little snaggy piece that catches on by material in there. Now, and then bend it to shape a little bit. Turn it. Here's where you get to be a master smacker with a hammer. Actually hit that little guy a little bit there just to give it a weird shape. There, and I like it like that. But as you can see, it gave it a weird sheen by hitting it. Bead to go in the hole. Okay, now this will be arbitrarily smacked there. I like the little beads. I want to put another bead over here. This time this one's going to be 2 brass ones. Kind of like these little guys. In fact, I'll put 1 brass one there. And I want it to go upward. I like the bead right where that hole is. Gotta lock that in place. Throw that bead back in there for now. Give me that other spring. No, I think I'll use this smaller spring. Push that little piece back down. I don't like that. These little pieces that stick out that could snag material. I try to always take care of those so they don't, because I don't like anybody saying, oh, I bought the piece, they're beautiful, but they ruin your clothes. So I always try to take care of them. Stretch these out a little bit because I want this one to have more of a springy look. Okay. We'll twist this one around here. Then I will twist it back around this way. Then I'll take this and twist it back that way. It's like that weird little shape there. Then we'll twist this way and just a little bit, and then twist it back. Just to make it odd. I like it like that, and push it down so it's not sticking way above everything. I like it riding right on top of the gears there. Okay, then we'll take this and sew this little piece here onto it. We'll put the long wire on this side and the short one on that side. Huh. That was odd. And then we'll drop that on there and this on here. There. And I'll bend some more stuff in there in just a second. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you like it, mark a thumbs up down there or subscribe. I'll be making more of these shows. The more I get out of these shows, people sending me stuff, and all the more shows I'll make. But I'll be showing you how to make all kinds of different jewelry, how to round pieces out like this. So you actually take them and make them rounded. And it's kind of interesting. But I'll show you how to do all different kind of things on future shows. You have a good time, and I hope you watch the whole show through, and I hope I stayed it entertaining. But give me feedback on it. If you like it or don't like it, either way, give me feedback, because I need to know things. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing. If I'm making mistakes, I'll keep making them if people don't correct me on them. So you have a good day.